now.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going for chapter 4 with John Greshner.
Chapter 5.
Oh, that's right, it is.
That could be chapter 5.
It
That's
is
right.
chapter
It's Prison
5.
Liberation and Redemption Program.
Prison Liberation and Redemption Program.
Prison Liberation and Redemption Program. Prison Liberation because we're trying to free people's minds from their prior conducts and all that, not only through rehabilitation programs and the self-healing and all that, but I teach a lot of guys liberation. I teach them deep meditation. The 3 levels still in your mind. As preliminary, the intermediate, going into beyond body consciousness, into the dream states, to lucid dreaming, how to heal yourself from all your issues in your subconscious. And the advanced stuff is the transcendental stuff, how to open the seals on the chakras, going up in the higher levels, transcendental states, man. These are the deeper natural states of consciousness in all sentient beings. Actually, the whole universe, right? Mm-hmm. Like I teach people over in my program, man, everything is sacred. Everything arises into being from the source. Everything's sacred. So this is the stuff I teach. Anyhow, so I want to talk a minute about this little fucking race war with the DC blacks that went down with the DCs and the ABs.
Right.
Listen, there was a little bit of static between just some young DC blacks, some young white dudes. Wasn't no ABs or nothing at Leavenworth. They transferred them down to Marion. This is after Marion's been locked down and everything else, and it was permanently locked down. And you're getting limited rec and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because of the guard killings and stuff. So these guys come over into Marion, and there's one of the young white kids sees one of the young black kids that they've been beefing with. So when they open the doors for rec, he puts that little wooden Radio Shack radio, and a pillowcase goes up and thumps him over the head with it. So then there's a few little altercations, fist fights out in the yard. These are just kids, right? So at some point, the young blacks out of DC, they said, fuck it, let's just jump all the whites. Well, they jumped all the whites, and 2 of the whites were our guys. Mac, who I was his expert witness for down the road, which, by the way, Mac was in the hat out in California. That's a different story. I'll get to that.
Yeah, I'd like to hear that.
Yeah, that's different. So, and David Sahagian, well, they didn't hurt them because these are big guys and they can fight. They're, over 6 feet tall, 230 to 260, and they can fight, right? So anyhow, but they put their hands up, so it creates a problem. Mm-hmm. Fast forward in the ADX up there, the word's going around. You got some guys there that came in. They had a beef with the Crips out of South Central. The DC blacks did, and they killed some of the Crips in Leavenworth. There was a riot and all that. Okay. So those guys are down there in the control unit with me now. Some of them down there that they gaffled up on that stuff are good friends of mine. We go back almost 50 years together. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Joe James, guys like that. These are good dudes, man. DC blacks, these are good.
There's some good,
guys.
Yeah, I know.
Hey,
that.
there's a bunch of them I know that are really good dudes, man. Yeah, but they weren't part of this bullshit going on. So anyhow, while this is going on and it's starting to pick up some speed, the DC blacks are going to other blacks like Doc Holliday, one of the original founders of the Black Gorilla family off the West Coast. So we used to be at war with way back in the days, but now we're friends. And Jeff Fort Malik out of the El Rubens out of Chicago, right. He's with us. We're friends, man. We do business. These are good guys, right? So, and Chan, he's with the Crips out of South Central.
Hey, they're trying to get that dude.
They're trying to get them to help them to come after the AB, telling the AB, saying the AB are a bunch of racists and all that. And these blacks are telling them, no, these aren't the racists. These are good men. You're the fucking racist. You're the one stirring all this shit up. So anyhow, one of the guys in the control unit in the ADX in Florence, Colorado, his name Titus Webster T. He's going around stirring shit up, and there's a guy behind him out of Florida named Corey Fowler who's stirring him up and getting him going and talking shit and getting him going. He stirred a lot of this shit up. So he's got T running around trying to recruit other blacks in the control unit there. He's saying, man, I got 300 comrades in Lewisburg. We'll just surround and smoke all them crackers, blah, blah, blah. And I got blacks coming to me on the side saying, listen, John, we ain't with none of that dumb shit. He's stirring all this shit up, trying to get it going, blah, blah, blah. We ain't with it. I said, okay, I get it. Don't worry about it. So the word's getting out what's going on. So he's telling Basinger, who is the unit manager, who used to be the SIA at Marion, the one that was telling me they ain't going to give me my money and all that from the lawyers from Al Ross and all that. They all know what's going on. So one day, they make tea, the porter on the tier, and he doesn't want to pass nothing to no whites. So I cuss him out. I talk to him like he's got a tail, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it turns out he's also stirring shit up with some Crips out of South Central, Smiley and Iron Man. He's putting the word out that I'm saying Iron Man's a rat and all that, and he's telling them that, well, it's actually really him doing it. And Iron Man finds that out because he's upstairs in the on the floor above us, and he's listening on the vents. When he tells me, hey, T is saying this, he says, John, I don't believe it. I says, well, T's coming out to wreck right now, and I'm going to jam him. He said, oh, that's not necessary. I tell him, oh, it's necessary. So when he comes in, I tell him, hey, you punk-ass motherfucker, you fucking plantation house nigger bitch, the fuck you doing? Oh, he said, hold up, John, get on the vent, get on the vent. We get on the vent, he said, hey, man, read between the lines. Iron Man's a rebel. I tell him, you're throwing me between the lines. I ain't saying shit about Iron Man. He said, yeah, I know, I'm sorry, man. I shouldn't have did that, but just read between the lines. So Iron Man's hearing everything. So I said, all right, well, then I apologize for cussing you out. So I was out of it at that time. Anyhow, he's trying to get to Lewisburg. So they send him back to Lewisburg. Then, and the cops know full well what's going on because he's going around in front of cops under escorts. When the cops are escorting him, talking all this racial shit, going to kill all the fucking crackers and shit. They send him to Lewisburg. Then they go down to Marion. They get with Big Al. They get with Johnny Campbell, Wayne Bridgewater, Tweak, and fucking Jason. Kid Jason. They said, you guys want to leave Marion and not have to go through the step-down programs and get straight out of here? They said, hell yeah. They said, we're going to send you to Lewisburg. They said, cool. They went up there. Well, they got wind that there was going to be a move on them too. And what happened was is they got off first. And Barry and TD sent the fucking wires up. I didn't have nothing to do with that. I wasn't even part of that. All you got to do is look at Nat Geo and see what the fuck went on, right? And where it shows that TD and Barry and all sent the hit and miss, the invisible inks and all that shit up to Lewisburg, the Big Al, and through Ronnie Slocum and all that, and saying we're at war with the DCs and all that. And that's what led to them cops, or the DC blacks getting killed up there. The government knew what was going on, and they did it anyhow. So fast forward, there I am. I talked to a DC black, a friend of mine, Willie Horton. He says, yeah, Barry came to me and says, you're the one that did the Lewisburg thing, that you didn't have the authority to do it. You're responsible. I tell him, I didn't have nothing to do with it. And I explained the whole thing with Titus Webster and all that. And he says, yeah, he said, I didn't believe my name. I said, me and Barry's beefing. He's doing all these little punk moves, man. So the thing, including trying to put brothers in the hat saying they're rats when they weren't, right? So the thing is then I start writing. Well, I find out, I get arrested. I go testify for Mac as his expert witness and all that. And then I'm under investigation. There's a terrorist thing going on at that time. Some vicious rumors about truck bombs and shit like this. So I'm under investigation. Danny Weeks had checked in. He stole money and checked in at the ADX and went into this illegal intelligence unit called H Unit behind Master Control at the ADX. Not to be confused with H Unit, the control unit down in Marion. Right. Okay, they're back there. He's back there. Kevin Roach is back there. Gene Bentley's back there. Richard Bernard's back there. Brian Deadeye Healy's back there, and a few other guys. Okay, they're fabricating cases on people. AB, other prisoners, Emmy, U.S. citizens, foreign nationals, that's what they're doing. They're giving them all these documents and all this shit, and classified national security documents. So they start stealing this shit, smuggling it to the streets, which resulted in Mexican government officials getting killed. And they had one document from Charlie Harrelson. They're going to try to extort his son, Woody, on the judge killing out of Texas, federal judge killing, and also the JFK killing down in Dallas, Texas. This was a CIA, NSA classified document that essentially says two members of the Dixie Mafia in CIA employ, both known rifle assassins, were on site in Dallas, Texas, 1963 during the JFK assassination. Turned out Charlie was actually arrested, but they had to let him go. They thought he was a hobo. They didn't find him with a gun or nothing. And they said both were subsequently convicted of high-profile rifle assassinations. Charlie Harrelson on Judge Woods in San Antonio, Texas, and James Earl Ray on Martin Luther King in Memphis, Tennessee. So they were trying to take this document and extort fucking Woody Harrelson, the movie star, right? So while all this is going on, I got to get the thefts of classified DEA and CIA and NSA and all that documents that these guys smuggled to the streets for sale to the highest bidder. It's naming names, players, and everything. People start getting whacked behind this shit, right? So I got to try to get it out. And at the same time, I know that they're trying to fabricate a case on the Nation of Islam and against Minister Farrakhan. So I write his editor-in-chief, James Muhammad, in the Final Call newspaper in Chicago. I don't hear nothing back. So I go through Jackie Reed on BET News. I get it to her. So I got to get this information to Farrakhan and Nation of Islam, and I got to get these classified documents, this information to Condoleezza Rice, the National Security Advisor of the George Bush administration. And she did. She was doing her news thing. I said, I watch you every day. This day, she was doing her news. She'd stand up. There's a silver microphone there. When she'd get ready to cut to a commercial, she'd lower the paperwork onto her chest and kind of lower her head, and then they'd fade the commercial. This day, she lowered it. This straight up. She lowered it to her chest, looked down. She says, Condi will be here tomorrow. Everybody listening will probably thought, what the fuck she say? I knew exactly what she's saying. Condoleezza Rice will be there tomorrow. This is what got this going. Then I told him, listen, man, you got all these guys talking all this stuff about fighting for the people like Al Sharpton. So I wrote Sharpton, National Action Network, saying, I'm willing to come forward and help all the black families whose family members have been killed and help them with wrongful death suits against government. I'm willing to step forward on the guard killings, Klutz and all of them, with their families. They should have stopped this. This should have never happened. They knew it was coming. They never did nothing to stop it. This was in furtherance of locking Marion down. It's like, there's certain acceptable losses, even losses of life to serve bigger plans they got going on, right? And I was trying to get this out through them, and I was saying, listen, man, I will help them in D.C., the families that lost family members, help with wrongful death suits. Nobody seems to give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? So it's like Early says in his book, oh yeah, I started this big racist organization. Oh, let me tell you something, man. I got a lot of friends of all races, including co-defendants. I got rap partners. I got black rap partners, Indian rap partners, Mexican partners, man. So a lot of this stuff they try to characterize whites, as the racists, the bad guys. But man, we ain't that. We're not that at all. We came into being because of the race wars, all the static in the United States on minorities fighting for their civil rights. They started indiscriminately attacking whites inside prisons. And we had to form a white self-defense group. First it was the Diamond Tooth Gang, then the Bluebirds, then the AB, then the Brand. That's how the success of that was. And that's what led us into being what it turned into. But if they wouldn't have attacked us, they would have had, potentially they would have had allies in their struggle, because who the fuck wants to be a second-class citizen? You know what I'm saying? And my history's that anyhow. I was always revoluting inside the pens, helping motherfuckers, blacks, Indians, all of them, fighting for their rights. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you a question. What happened with Lil Matt and Homer Ray when they killed that black dude up on Sea Range? What was that all about?
They killed Perry. They killed Perry because this was during the work strike. There was a main work strike, the longest work strike in BOP history, out on the main line. So Lenny Graves come in, a new unit manager, and he starts stirring shit up and fucking up the Unicor ranges down in the control unit. So they're doing a work strike for themselves and in support of the one out on the main line. So Perry gets moved off D range, which is C and D were both Unicor range. Matt asked the blacks up there, why did Perry move off the tier? They said, oh, he's a little homosexual, and he moved off the tier. So Matt had already got run off D range because he was in support of us guys. We cracked it off over on A range, started flooding and burning and all that shit, so they ran us back to the home, me and Clay and us guys. So Matt goes and sees Perry, and Perry's in the front of B range, and he tells him, hey man, they says you're a homosexual and you left the range. And Perry looks at me, so yeah. He says, they say you're a rat. Matt says, what? He said, they say you're rat. So he goes back up, and he gets with the black dudes up there, which were out of New York. Jerry McCall and Frank Lewis and them. And he said, man, Perry just told me you said I'm a rat. They said, we didn't say that shit. We wouldn't say, well, that was it for Perry.
Right, so that's what I heard. I heard they call him a rat.
When the little strike got over, they all got moved back up on C range, the Unicorns here. As soon as they came out, they killed Perry.
I heard him screaming.
That's what that was about. That's literally what that was about. Hey, words can get you killed. You know what I'm saying? And the thing was, is I had a bunch of birds, baby little sparrows. I had some robins, but we lost them. So I had some baby sparrows. I was training them. I sent one up on the Tiron Sea Range to Speedy. So while they're fucking killing Perry and beating them and stabbing them and fucking with the fucking pokers, all the cops are on the front of the tier, in front of the grill, saying stop, stop. Well, the bird is flying up and down the whole range, all excited, all these vibes going on, this crazy shit going on. He lands right on the unit manager Lenny Graves' right shoulder. When Lenny Graves is hanging on the grill saying stop, stop, Norman, Homer Ray, stop, stop. And they're booking this dude, got him down, they're booking him. The bird lands on his shoulder, scares the shit out of him. He goes, ah! The bird goes, toot, and shits all over his shoulder and takes off. That's very good. That's what happened. This shit's fucking crazy. So that's what happened with Perry. You still there?
Yeah. I remember.
Okay, yeah,
I remember. Did they get any time out of that?
Yeah. They Homer Ray got 10 years. And Matt got 10 years. They pled out to it.
You know, that was the second homicide they had in Marion. Well, no, that was the third one for Matt, but that was the second for Homer Ray. He got out.
Yeah,
he got out of prison, bro.
Hey, Stubblefield.
Stubblefield, right? And then they killed this guy.
It was Homer Ray, Little Matt, and Clay Barnett who killed Stubblefield right in the hallway there when he came out of I unit.
I guess they kept pleading guilty for 10 years, and that really didn't add up to much, you know?
Yeah. Back in them days in the feds, you could plead out to a homicide, a manslaughter, and get 10 years.
Right.
That's all you get, right?
So if he stacked two of them, that was 20. I don't know what he was doing in the first place. Probably another dime. He made it. He got out. He got out and started a family. Homer Ray.
Yeah, absolutely. He sent me word too. A guy seen him when he got violated one time. They seen him on the Con Air flying. He said, sent word to me. He said, man, tell John I said hello and all that. I said, listen, man, do your life, man. Get out there, get your life together, man. You got a fundamental duty. You got a sacred duty. It's sacred to take care of yourself, your family, especially your children.
He's got a little kid that's like, I think he has a mentally retarded kid. This kid turned out to be, on the spectrum or something. That's what I heard.
Yeah. Well, that's even more. I mean, listen, but you're bringing life forth onto this planet, and life is sacred. Life is sacred. Everything's sacred. You know, people. Let's like Early says in the book, I was considered the most notorious killer at Marion or some shit. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Hey, listen, man.
A lot of notorious killers in Marion, bro. A lot of them.
I always choose life. I always choose life. Now, sometimes I'm forced into something else, but if I ever have a chance, I choose life. I give a guy now. When I was on the commission with Barry TD, man, I'm always investigating shit. I'm giving guys passes. Barry used to say, what the fuck's John keep giving these guys passes for? We get word off the West Coast, this guy's no good, he's in the hat. I tell him, hold up, I'm investigating, because I know how it is. Guys are in them deep slammers out there, them shoes and stuff, been out there 10, 20 years in solitary confinement, sensory deprivation. Life becomes real cheap. And I know they'll put a motherfucker in the hat for nothing. And I am not going to let them kill people for that. It's not going to happen. Especially for some bullshit, drug shit or whatever. I'm not going to let them do it. So Barry was even kind of hitting for a while, but he knew this was dangerous waters. But I don't want to try to put John in the hat because he keeps stopping things. But I'm wondering what's going on.
You have 1 minute left.
You want to put John in the hat? You know, I got some fucking partners of my own up in that organization. We'll put you in the hat, motherfucker. And we're the real wild bunch, not you. Like Kevin Rhodes told the feds, you want to know the fucking federal AB? Look, the IRA. TD's just TD. Barry is Sinn Féin administrative. He says John runs the provost, them crazy motherfuckers, the provisional army. So don't forget that shit. All right, we're going to get cut off, man.
Yeah, tomorrow, bro. Tomorrow.
All right, later. Have a good one. Stay up. Stay safe.
All right, bye.